There's something interesting about spending money. Most people don't regret the purchase until after it's already done. Not before, not during, but after. And if you really think about it, the moment tells you something important. Because if we truly understood our decisions, we wouldn't need to question them later. So, the real question is not, why do we spend? But, why do we only understand our spending after it happens? Most people already know what they should do with the money: save more, spend less, avoid unnecessary purchases. That knowledge is not new, it's everywhere. But knowledge doesn't always translate into behavior because spending doesn't happen in the part of the brain that plans. It happens in the part that reacts. In the moment, logic becomes quieter and something else takes over. Spending decisions happen very fast, sometimes in seconds, sometimes even faster. You see something, you feel something, and the decision follows. There's no deep analysis, no long term thinking, just a quick response. And that speed is important because the faster a decision is made, the less likely it is to be questioned. Today, spending is easier than ever. You don't need cash. You don't even need to think. One click, one tap, one confirmation. And the transaction is complete. That simplicity removes friction. And when friction disappears, control becomes harder because effort is what slows decisions down. And without effort, decisions happen automatically. And another thing people don't notice is how disconnected spending has become. You don't see the money leaving your hand. You don't feel the loss physically. It's just numbers on a screen. And because of that, spending feels less real, less painful, more abstract. Sometimes, people don't buy things because of what the item is. They buy because of what it represents: a certain lifestyle, a certain identity, a certain version of themselves. Owning something can feel like becoming someone more successful, more put together, more ahead. And that feeling can be stronger than logic. One of the most overlooked parts of spending is not the purchase itself, it's the anticipation, the waiting, the imagining, the excitement before the item even arrives. In my case, that feeling is stronger than actually owning the item. And once the item becomes normal, that excitement fades. There's also a pattern many people don't notice. After spending, there's often a short period of reflection, a moment where people think, I should be more careful next time. But that feeling doesn't last because life resets. A new week, a new paycheck, a new situation. And the same pattern repeats. Over time, spending becomes a default behavior, not something you actively decide, but something you automatically do, a response to situations, a habit built through repetition. And once something becomes a habit, it no longer feels like a choice. Your environment plays a bigger role than you think. What you see, what you're exposed to, what feels normal around you. If spending is constantly visible, it becomes normalized. If buying is constantly encouraged, it becomes expected. And over time, your behavior adjusts to match your environment. Convenience has a hidden cost, not in price, but in awareness. The easier it is to spend, the less you think about spending. And the less you think, the more automatic your decisions become. The difference is not about being strict or avoiding spending completely. It's about slowing down, creating space between impulse and action. A moment to ask, is this a decision or a reaction? Because that question changes everything. The goal is not to stop spending, it's to understand it, to see the patterns, to notice the triggers, to recognize when a decision is coming from logic and when it's coming from something else. Because once you see it, you can change it. Because in the end, spending is not just about money, it's about awareness. It's about understanding how decisions are made and why they feel so natural in the moment. If you enjoy conversations about money, financial psychology, and the patterns that shape our behavior, welcome to the Asian Broke Diary. Because sometimes the biggest financial improvement doesn't come from earning more. It comes from seeing clearly how you already use what you have.